The first ever crypto summit held in the United States of America is now officially over, and we have Bitcoin trading at $86,400-ish, hovering around that region over there. And it seems like it was a typical sell the news event, exactly as anticipated. But the question is, will the bears have follow through, right? That's the major question that I'm sure many of you are wondering out there as we watch a lot of the coins come down, a lot of the altcoins as well, testing some of those new lows. So in today's show, I do want to talk about, why you may need to kill your crypto portfolio. I will explain in a little bit more detail as we do go through this. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel, right? So let's continue. Let's get into the show content over here. In case you missed it, it was about a 5-hour event that happened yesterday. You can pretty much sum the TLDR, the short version of the crypto summit, up to 4 bullet points, right? The US government will explore new ways to acquire more Bitcoin. Trump said, never sell your BTC. So I guess that's one bullish thing that we can take out of there. Regulatory weaponization will end against crypto, that is. And everyone told Trump how great he is. He's amazing, best president ever for crypto, right? So expectations were low. As the DeFi investor says over here, and surprised we didn't get any new info. I'm personally not surprised at all. This is exactly what I at least expected, is that it would be a massive, big, fat, old nothing burger with double cheese and bacon on top. And that's exactly what we got, right? So we'll see how things unfold over here. What that means now going forward is we'll see what Bitcoin's made out of, right? As the low volume environment does persist. When we look at the liquidations, of course, managed to squeeze out another $500 million worth of liquidations out of their 496 million, 318 on the long side, of course, going long into the event over there. But the liquidations are getting less and less as the volume does diminish, right? You can see the 24-hour trading volume down 10% over there. And I mean, if you plot this on a chart, which we've been doing, looking at the 7-day daily exchange volume across the major exchanges, specifically looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, which were some of the top traded coins out there. Well, the 7-day exchange volume has just been cliff diving, right? Lower lows and lower highs. We'll get an update a little bit later on today. As always, I update you in the Whale Room Discord with regards to that downtrend, and if that downtrend is persisting. That's been one of the biggest bearish divergences that we've waited to see a change in, right? Not only that, but we have to look at the stock market, right? The stock market, pretty much all the majors, you have the S&P 500 futures over there finding support at the 200-day moving average. Will it get a bounce into next week? That's really going to be critical for the crypto markets. QQQ closing below, so NASDAQ closing below the 200-day moving average. Dow Jones coming into that 200-day moving average support with also strong horizontal support. So this is probably the best out of the lot. But at the end of the day, you got that essentially that change of character. You've taken out that previous high low, and on a closing basis, well, that's a new swing low. Firstly, you wick below, so it's already a swing low. But even on a closing basis, you can see marginally you've closed lower, right? If we look at this candle over here, your last close was 5996. This close over here, 5770. Therefore, on a weekly scale, that is a bearish indication. So any bounces that happen up over here, you're probably going to be looking for weakness. This is kind of similar to what you're expecting on Bitcoin, where we said that really, if you want a sign of safety to get long in the market, all you need to do is Bitcoin has to clear $100,000, right? Give or take, round it up to a round number. It's not exactly 100, but let's make it a round number, $100,000. For the stock market, well, you want to at least see a closing candle above 6,000. So 100,000 for Bitcoin, S&P 500, you want to see 6,000, and then you can start to put some risk back on the table. That's if you want to be cautious, which in this environment, I would recommend, since there's a lot at stake, right? We do have the bearish divergence over here, which is still in play. Now, there are a few things that I do want to highlight when it comes to this bearish divergence. If you do focus on the RSI levels over here, well, typically when we do see the weekly RSI for the stock market coming down into these levels, situated, between 40 and 50, we have actually seen some sizable bounces, right? If you look over here, and we can highlight that on a chart, the last time we hit that 55, there was, let's just make that a bit neater. So there it was, we hit that 55. You led into a pretty sizable bounce. You hit again over here into the 55. You led into a pretty sizable bounce. came in again over here to 50, led to a sizable bounce. And then we had the last one over here was down to about 52, also a pretty sizable bounce. And once again, coming into that zone. Therefore, could you make the argument that the stock market puts in a bounce next week? Absolutely. It's really possible. Of course it is. But it's now a shift in the potential trend. If that bounce on the dailies leads into a lower high, well, this becomes a counter trend trade, right? Meaning if you're looking for the long side over here, you would be taking the counter trend trade, because the expectation, I know the stock market's closed, but I think it's important to talk about now. If you do get this bounce over here and it fails to get above that 6,000 level, which I just gave you, that's going to be your lower high, right? Your lower high into the $6,000 level, at which point over the next weeks and months, you expect that the rest of the risk on assets probably also go down, meaning crypto probably also goes down. So could we put in a short-term bounce? Absolutely. But in the longer term, if it does lead into a lower high, you expect this to walk down just like it did previously. And that is essentially why I say in today's show, which this isn't the first time that I've said this, right? We've spoken about this over the last couple of maybe even months, that, you know, being a investor with a crypto portfolio, your pie chart, your typical crypto portfolio where you're holding X amount of this, that, and XYZ is risky, right? It's very, very risky. It's probably going to be better to be a trader, because if we do start to march down like we saw previously, the last time that we broke structure, which was right over here, that's the environment that we're in right now. We've just broken structure on the weekly scale. Let's show it to you over here again. I did cover this yesterday, but I know a lot of you weren't on that show because I was on Crypto Live and people didn't know that I was on the Crypto Live channel. So this is what we saw back in on that candle in early January 2022. And you can see, yes, you got bounces along the way. But ultimately, from this candle, once it did break down, what did the stock market do? 25% more or less towards the downside, right? That drops crypto quite heavily. So do you want to be a crypto holder in that environment? Probably not, right? Definitely not. So I think be cautious before deploying too heavily into the altcoin sector. Another viewpoint that we can have a look at in terms of the stock market is this, right? Again, just highlighting using a very, very simple trend trading tool, which is going to be the super guppy indicator. It uses a conglomerate of different exponential moving averages that move up in threes, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so forth. And they add them all up together over here. Basically, when it's full green over here, you're in a strong trending move. When it starts to turn gray, that is your warning sign. Very, very similar to what we saw the last time we broke structure on the weekly time frame, right? So therefore, based on the RSI, absolutely, you could get an interim bounce, but now you need to be on lower high watch around that $6,000 mark. On the S&P 500, if that does lead into the lower high, you could easily turn the super guppy red and start to walk down, right? And then we'll need to wait for the confirmation of the rollover and then back into the strong uptrend. Now, of course, if you can get back above 6,000, absolutely, 100%. It could be one of these scenarios, right? Like we saw back over here where you start to reclaim the levels and then immediately the trend does persist, right? In quite a powerful fashion. So nice daily candle close over there. Therefore, am I bearish immediately into next week that prices are going to roll over and crash? No, not necessarily. This is telling you based on that daily candle, you probably do get a bounce, right? I want to be clear on that. But lower high watch, look for the 6,000 rejection. And now let's look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin on the weekly scale, same story, bearish divergence. We covered this a whole lot at length. But focusing also on the RSI, once again, you are coming back into those key zones, right? Anywhere between, similar to the stock market, that 40 to 50 region, you do start to look for a bounce, right? So you can see the last time we came into this region over here, Bitcoin was down at 24K. And of course, you had the move all the way up to 73,000 off of that. And then you started to correct. Once again, you got into a scary environment. You hung around that 45, 46 zone where Bitcoin found a bottom. Ultimately wicked down to $49,000, but it found a bottom more or less at about $55,000. Now you might be in a similar environment, and then you went on to appreciate with a 100% move, right? 50,000 to about 108,000, so just over 50% move. And now that RSI is coming back into that key territory. Now, if the equity markets, absolutely tank into the new week, then this is not going to give you any relief. In that environment, if that does the same thing and this tanks, well, Bitcoin will very, very quickly drop down into the low $70,000 region. So that is your risk, right? Your risk is that if you are buying any of these things looking for the bounce, understand that it's a counter trend move, right? Where you are going to be looking for rejections off of that. So that's Bitcoin. I think the weekly close is going to be vitally important. It's going to be super interesting. But already we have a clue from the stock market based on this close that on a weekly scale, it's officially shown, right? I just showed you the closing basis for that candle, which was your last high low, and then the closing basis for this candle, which is now your low, your new low, right? It's broken that higher low structure, which means the possibility of trend reversal over there. All right. What could create a short-term bounce in the crypto markets with the RSI coming down here alongside the stock market as well? Well, we've been keeping an eye out on the DXY. If the DXY does deviate this level, comes down a little bit, that could create the next short-term bounce. But that short-term bounce, if you deviate this level, which is your mid-range, right? We've seen the significance of this entire zone over here. So you'd expect that the DXY would find a little bit of support over here. And that deviation, the little deviation, should create the small bounce into the lower high. And then when it reclaims this and bounces up over here into a lower high, well, that's going to probably create your next leg down. So that's one thing that I'm watching over there. As you do come into support, you're already seeing it starting to move over there. But this has been a pretty strong move towards the downside, which was expected. We did plan for this. And I think that would be the first area of interest where I start to get interested in at least trying to catch a so-called bottom on Bitcoin would be around that, low $70,000 region. If we get this move, right, DXY bounces, that should send Bitcoin down to that low $70,000 region. Now, I also don't want to get too greedy. Therefore, I do have a plan to get back in long if you start to reclaim some of those key levels again. Most notably, what is the number? Around that $100,000 mark, right? This number will change all the time, right? So $100,000 mark there, 6,000 on the S&P 500 futures chart. Now, again, if this is confusing to you guys, I really encourage you to take your education seriously. One way that you can do that is to join the crypto school courses, right? Whale School. I have a course over here. I told you guys there is going to be a price point on this. You can still unlock it for free, right? You can unlock it 100% for free if you use the link in the description below for Bank. And this is not just for my crypto school course. This is for any of the courses in crypto school. If you use that Bank link, you'll unlock 100% cash back on every trade, firstly, and you're getting your sign-up bonus, right? For the first 1,000 users that sign up over here, you will get $50, right? $50, no questions asked. Use the link in the description below. This becomes your ticket into all of the crypto school courses, not just mine. If you go to Eric Crown's one, Sheldon's one, Rand's one, which is coming out very, very soon, and anyone else that joins in the future, you can use this Bank link and the user ID will verify you as your ticket, your golden ticket into the course. So use the link below, sign up while you still can. We're busy filling this cohort and we begin in 2 weeks' time, right? All right, now let's get into Bitcoin very, very quickly. Let's get into Bitcoin over here. So Bitcoin's mid-range, right? You can see over there, this is the parallel channel that's kind of price has been respecting ever since those FTX lows over there. Deviated that, created a local top, came back down, found the major support, ran it to the highs, rejected off those highs, and now you're struggling in that mid-range level. So if we expand this, zoom in over here, also using our very, very, very important moving averages, the 3, the 9, and the 30. Again, I've covered this extensively in Whale School, especially in the live sessions. This is a trend trading style that can be used across all asset classes, right? If you want to be a swing trader and you want to position yourself into strength, this is fundamentally important to understand. What we're seeing over here is a rejection from that mid-range level, right? Not only that, but if you want to get a little bit more technical and focus on horizontals, which I always say hold a much higher weighting to any form of diagonal or moving average, well, what are you seeing? Underside rejection, right? Multiple days. This is a 5-day chart. Failure to get back above these levels is going to be absolutely detrimental to what price action is going to do next, right? And we're going to talk about altcoins. We're going to talk about low time frame trades. This is swing trading, right? Swing trading 101, reclaim back into the trading range, recapture these moving averages. Right now, it is rejecting from these moving averages. You can see one full candle close underneath that range low on a 5-day basis. That's 5 days. 10 days, another candle close, also rejecting from the moving averages. Will we get in 3 days and 17 hours time the next third candle close, which would maybe be the nail in the coffin to catapult price down to these low levels? Well, so far it's looking very, very likely you got these moving averages, which are now rolling over, right? This is starting to position. This is a full cash position, right? This is what this is telling you. It's telling you full cash position. This could easily drop down into the $68,000 to $72,000 region, right? Those are the areas, $68,000 to $72,000 region. Depends on when it hits and how it gets there, but that is what this is calling for, right? So again, if you want the safe entry, $100,000 will reclaim all of these things, reclaim the moving averages, and things will start to look good. Understand that the way the markets work is when you start to lose some of these key levels, your high frequency trading bots and algorithms start to jump onto the bearish side, right? And they start to increase their selling pressure, which is what ultimately leads to those bigger drops. These are machines that are unbiased and unemotional, like the majority of the people in the comment section on YouTube, which I do read the comments, guys. So I know mostly it's 99% very positive feedback, but I know people get very emotionally charged, right, when they're losing money because they're on the wrong side of the trend. Remember the saying, the trend is your friend till the end of the trend, right? So you want to remain friends with the trend, not friends with at least the people that are opposing the trend in the comment section. Multiple candle closes here. Algorithms are going to start to kick in if bulls can't get back above here very, very, very soon, and selling pressure is going to start to drop price down, right? So be aware of that. It's a real possibility. Again, we've covered this at length. Yes, you have a beautiful downsloping trend line, super easy. Breakout traders are going to be waiting for a reclaim of this. I would say that even if you do break this, you'd need to see something move high up, right? Because a break of this downsloping trend line that goes straight into the high volume area points of control at this $96,000 region. Well, it's actually, let's just contract this a bit. It should be around 97. There we go. That's correct. So this $97,000 region, you know, if it pops up into here, that's still bearish, right? And rejects. Really what you need to see is a smash through this region and a reclaim of that level. That's why I say about $100,000, right? You want to see a pretty explosive move, something like that. Then the back test into that 97 to 100K region. That's going to be your better high confluent higher low that you can look for. And now you can start to say maybe a bottom is in, right? Still same plan. Nothing has changed up there. That is ultimately what we're waiting for. You know, this is the trading range. And right now you are below the range low. So, you know, I dropped this in Discord yesterday. This is really how I feel. Who is this? 𝗪𝗫𝗄𝗧, right? My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. My body is telling me yes. And I know that's how you guys emotionally feel. You want to go long, but what is your mind telling you? Your mind is telling you, look at the charts, see where the resistances are, and it's showing you that there's pressure down, right? So, of course, you know, there's been a lot of high impact events that came out. They weren't too negative. It came out a little bit better than expected with the unemployment rates and things like that, which means, well, firstly, I also watched Jerome Powell spoke live last night, and it sounds like, you know, they think that the economy is still relatively strong, which means that they don't necessarily have to cut interest rates. So they can continue down this path for a very long period of time, which means that the altcoin sector will continue to get obliterated until there's easy money that comes into the market. And that's kind of part of the parcel of today's show, right? Be very, very, very careful when the stock market is rolling over, Bitcoin is rolling over, and altcoins continue to make new lows with buying too quickly. Be careful with that, right? Be very, very, very careful with that. So 4-hour time frame, the lowest really trend that I would look at over here, continuous rejection from the 50 and 200 EMA. We are in a very low volume environment over the course of the weekend. So, you know, that makes for easy price manipulation. Of course, I'm not, Donald Trump is not a family member of mine, so I can't tell you for certain if he's going to run this playbook again, where he puts out a tweet over the course of the weekend, something bullish about crypto. If he does, of course, you know, maybe you're going to get a big bounce up, but the TA will persist, right? You'll see continuous rejections over there from the 200 EMA. Failure to close back above means that the bearish trend is intact, and everybody and their mother will be looking at this exact trend line over here, right? And I think I'm more inclined to believe that this is going to break towards the downside. And if it does break towards the downside, of course, you can look for a potential double low over here. You need to look on the low time frames. Again, if you want to learn more about this, join in 𝗃𝗄𝗄 school. If you want a lifelong ticket, sign up to 𝗪𝗏𝗏, right? That's your lifelong ticket into any of the crypto schools. Now, what you're going to be looking for is this. If you do break this, I would watch the previous daily fair value gap, which we traded this low live on the stream on that Friday as it was happening in real time. And I'd be looking for a sweep of that. A reclaim of that level would activate the long trade, right? A short-term long trade. Then you can start to trade this back into the trading range over there. But understand, any longs that you're taking over here are increasingly risky, and a counter trend move that you must expect will probably reject into another lower high. And where would your next major support come into play? Well, ultimately, we have covered it, around that $68,000 to $72,000 region, right? I think we also have a long-term trend line over here. If you zoom out and you have a look at this, you had that bottom from October. Then you had the bottom over here from the 49K low. And then you retested it a second time in September. And if you come into that zone, well, that's additional support. It's additional support there alongside the range high breakout level, right? Now, we have seen the total cryptocurrency market cap has already moved back into the zone. So total's already done this. Bitcoin hasn't, which means there could be a bit more to still unwind over here, right? So that's what I'm watching over there. If we do get this breakdown as well, I would expect that it should happen soon, like in the next week or so. Now we can have a look at some of the altcoins as well. And of course, there are some counter trend bounces that you can be looking at. I see some of you say like long hype. We can actually have a look at hype. Hype is one of them that could potentially present a short-term long trade setup, right? So it's going to be an interesting weekend. Now, this creates very, very, very difficult trading environments. I really have encouraged people, the best thing to do is probably to sit on your hands for the most part, because there's no edge to trading news-related market moves, right? Which is really what the narrative has been lately, is the only way you can trade this is to be a keyboard warrior, which I know there are a lot of those out there, sitting on your mobile, right? Waiting for any news-related thing, and you have to pretty much execute a trade instantaneously in and out, a quick scalp off of a news-driven thing. Now, this is not good. This is not good, a good way to trade, right? It's proven to be very, very, very unsuccessful when you try and do things like that. So one thing that I've tried to at least dive a little bit more into, I've been playing around with it, is bot trading, right? So I've set up on Pionex. Pionex is at least the best bot trading platform that I could personally find. And I've scaled in a $50,000 position, ultimately just simply trading the range. We'll talk more about this in the future. I want to test it out first. I want to see how it works. As price oscillates and just is range bound, this kind of makes it a little bit more of the easy mode. So there's all these different bots over here, futures grids, inverse futures grids. They got different bots. You can set up things manually as well if you do want to. Of course, they offer normal exchange trading as well, but I want to focus specifically on the bots over here. So I did reach out to them. I asked them if they had anything for you guys as part of the whale room community, part of the crypto banter fam. Pionex over there, you can automate your crypto trading over there using the bots. They are offering a 1,000 USDT exclusive new user sign up bonus, right? So as you can see over here, register, complete any form of KYC if you want to, and you'll get 50 USDT that you can put straight into the bot, and you can get up to 1,000. So if you put in $10,000, you're getting $1,000, a 10% bonus on top of that. So use the link below if you do want to join me. I am going to set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a couple of my own bots. I'm going to create a link for those bots. It's not here yet, but it'll come next week. So you can sign up in the meantime. And then I'll put it in the description. And all you have to do is click copy, and you'll be able to get into the same bots. Okay, let's have a look over here. So currently, this is going to be a little bit unreliable data over the course of the weekend. But on Binance, the perpetual traders are slightly negative on the deltas to neutral, slightly negative, meaning that some of them are still looking for short trades over here, right? So, of course, counter trend trades would be in the form of a short squeeze towards the upside. We'll look at the altcoins in a bit and see what that looks like. Let's just quickly see over here, where the this is all in the whale room Discord, by the way. So 91,800, you can see there's actually quite a few orders over there. So, low liquid environment over the course of the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pop-up, right? Something like this. So looking at this chart over here, over the course of the weekend, you might see something like this, right? Price hanging around here, a little bit of a pop-up, short squeeze, maybe not that high, a little bit of a pop-up into like 91, reject off the 200 EMA, and then maybe you come into Monday and you smash this down, right? And then that's where you look for the ultimate support. that becomes the big buy the dip zone. All right. So there are opportunities out there. You just need to be smart about it. Aggregate funding on its way to negative, similar in agreement with this. So right now, positive, but on its way down as price cascades a little bit lower over there. Bitcoin dominance still very, very strong. More bullish than bearish, right? It is chopping about, but overall it's more bullish than bearish. We still haven't tagged this 50% wick, which is pretty interesting over there. Looking at the USDT dominance, which I recommend all of you always look at because it pretty much trades inversely to crypto. And since most of your mind's working up only, this can help you, right? Because if you look at this chart and you think that this is going to break out, it would tell you that the rest of the crypto market's probably going to have another leg down. So also similar to Bitcoin, though, it's really just chopping about in the short term on the 4-hour time frame. This is putting in high lows and lower highs, and it's compressing into a wedge, right? So what's interesting about this is what I just said, maybe the drop comes in on Monday, right? Maybe over the course of the weekend, you trap a couple more long traders with that spike up, a little bit of a short squeeze, rejection candle, failure to close above the 200 EMA that comes here on the 4-hour time frame. And then on Monday, Monday, Tuesday, you start to drop down. Well, if you look at the USDT, this is doing something similar, right? Then you would expect this this is showing you that you're reaching the apex where between Monday and Tuesday. So you expect either a breakout or breakdown somewhere around that time zone. So maybe you see something like this, a little bit of a drop down that will get people mega bullish, super excited, and then smash it back up, right? That smash towards the upside, that's going to create the drop in Bitcoin and crypto. So we can have a look at some of the altcoins. Let me know in the comments what you want to have a look at. But again, just showcasing to you, this is your ETH BTC downtrend, right? Still very, very strong. If you look at this on the daily time frame, consolidating right around those lows, I mean, this could drop it again, right? Definitely could. So something to be aware of. Looking at, Solana, I've taken everything off the chart over here. There is really only one line that's going to be your super, super significant major support over here, and that is that 120, right? That is it, right? I mean, this is support, but based on the momentum coming down over here, I still think that you need to watch for a sweep of this. If you sweep this level and reclaim, it's bullish. You look for long trades, and this is your trading range, right? On Solana, then this is your massive trading range. Let's quickly grab our highlighter tool over here. Your trading range is between 120 and 260. That's a massive range, right? But if you break below and you fail to reclaim, instead you break below, bearish retest, well, then this becomes your trading range, which means you have to be looking between 120 and just below $50, right? Okay, but it's very, very rare that you'll get, from there straight down to there without a counter trend bounce, right? So there should still be, anyway, even if we're moving into like a super bearish market, some sort of a counter trend bounce that could easily spike up to like $200 on this, right? So you could trade that 120 to $200 is what's that, like an 80% move or something. 65-ish% move, right? 65% move. All right. What else, guys? Let me know in the questions. Drop your question in the comment section. Tommy Martin or Marin, saying, should we short? Look, you need to wait. If there's a counter trend bounce, then yes, that you look to short. Would I short right now? No, I don't really think that there's any opportunity right now. Everything is like hovering around those lows. If you look at something like, let's go on to Sonic as well. You can see this over here, right? So Sonic really consolidating around those lows over there. Like I wouldn't short it over here, right? If anything, I'd rather look for a long trade with a tight stop below. And if you do get that counter trend bounce, that's where you start to look for the shorts, right? So if you see, something like this, you could easily squeeze up to, on Sonic, I would say into this region over here is going to be about 57, right? And then you start to look for a lower high off that 57, and then that probably breaks those lows. So that's something that I'd watch for. If anything on the super low time frames, you're looking for the long trades, right? So we can go on, let's actually have a look at this one over here. So you're already starting to play some of this out, but you had bullish divergence over here. That would have been a nice little entry. I did cover this yesterday live actually on the show, and I said, looking for a little bit of a long entry over here. If you're scaling in, then you're going to trade up to those highs. So it would look something, I'll do it again. You'd be looking for something like this. Maybe you'll still get it, right? You can pretty much put a tight stop below that wick on Sonic. And anything that you're scaling into this region over here, wait for it to come down, maybe get a few more wicks that drop down into that region. And then you're looking for the little bit. Because remember, if the bias is that Bitcoin on the weekly is coming into those, with the RSI coming into those key levels between 40 and 50, and the stock market's doing the same thing, and you're expecting a little bit of a bounce on the stock market, crypto is going to do the same thing coming into the new week, right? It's Bitcoin is the challenging one. That's what it's Bitcoin dependent, right? Because if Bitcoin keeps riding the trend down, well, then this is not going to happen. But if Bitcoin can start to break and buck that trend on the 4-hour time frame, getting above those key moving or exponential moving averages, and the stock market bounces, that's when you see the counter trend little bounces like this, right? Then you're looking at a move, so something like this, then you're looking at a move like this on Sonic, which could bounce to about 57. So you got to take it one step at a time. This is what I mean by not holding longer term portfolios, but rather just actively looking and seeking out some decent trades. The other one that we said we'd have a look at, right, was Hype. I know some of you are saying, long Hype. Hype is up already 5.7%. Look, it's already come into the area of interest. So risk to reward, I wouldn't be jumping in right now. But let's go into the hourly over here. This was the area of interest that we last covered, this little order block over here. Could have come a little bit lower, absolutely. I would just be paying attention to this over here. Let's see. Let's throw in a bit of a trend line over here. So see, I mean, it's a little bit far. It's not this. I can't work with anything over here right now. This would have been the opportunity when you got into the oversold, came down, spiked up, and then you would have started to print that bullish divergence on the 1-hour time frame. So similar to Phantom, if it does come a little bit lower and you retest some of these wicks, there we go. That's going to be about 14.8. Then you can start to look for a little bit of a long, tight stop loss below here. Give the bullish divergence on the hourly a chance to possibly play out, right? Then you're looking for something like this, maybe a little bit of a sweep there. This, you're trading on low time frames then, right? Like you must enter these on like the 5 to 15 minute time frame, enter the trade, tight stop loss over there. As soon as it moves in your favor, raise your stop loss into break even, give it a chance. If it gets that spike up, you're looking to fade this. I don't even think I'll make it that high. I would look to fade this from about 17. Okay, 17, that is on Hype. So I'd be looking for something like this. Let's throw in the risk to reward tool. If it can squeeze a little bit lower again, a little bit of a tight stop over there, trade this. Pretty much your safer exit would be over here. That's still pretty big, right? That's about a 5.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio. Greg Trigo, we never hit alt season. No, hardly. I mean, some of the coins did. There are definitely some of the coins that pumped massively, right? We saw, like, look at 𝗬𝗎. 𝗬𝗎 had a massive season. If you look at Solana from $8 to $300, I mean, that's an alt season for sure. But I don't think that we've had an alt season like we saw in 2017 and 2021, which is what people probably want, right? They wanted to see everything run, every single thing run, where it's like, throwing a dart at a board and anything you pick is just going to go up. That's why I say in today's show, right? 3 reasons to kill your crypto portfolio. Reason number 1, they're all downtrending against Bitcoin, so it's less risk to just hold Bitcoin. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's all been a rotational game. I don't think that you're going to see altcoins run where everything flies the way that it previously did. Reason number 3, there's more coins now than there's ever been, which means that you're now in a casino and you don't really have that much of an edge. So, I mean, I can keep going through the list, right? Reason number 4, these altcoins are working like oscillators where they just bounce between highs and lows, and therefore it's probably better to just look for trade opportunities like this. Get in, do your business, get out, move into cash, and accumulate Bitcoin over time, right? That's probably the better play. All right, let's have a look at NEAR. NEAR, this was a similar example as well. So attempting to scale into position. Let's see, it hasn't got the bullish divergence yet, so I'd probably wait for something like that. But you're looking at it essentially to hold this range level over here. If you, again, these are all counter trend plays. If you're risky, you're looking for a spike up over here, I'd probably take full profits before these highs, looking for a downsloping trend line, then a potential rejection, but that's your range high up to about 360. And this is all pending if the stock market bounces coming into the open of next week, and Bitcoin does the same thing. Okay, what else? Virtuals is wrecked, right? We can have a look at virtuals. Virtuals is wrecked. Virtuals, the AI agents platform. So we can have a look here. This is where like the pump.fund, but for AI agents, where they're launching those AI agents. It's attempted some bullish divergence multiple times, but it just keeps coming down, right? If you look at this on, for example, a weekly scale, this this is what the weeklies look like. It is diabolical, absolutely horrendous. And that's why I say, major support like this can easily come down to 50 cents to possibly even 32, which means for something like virtuals, this is just such a strong downtrend. First area of interest, 30% down. Second area of interest, 55% down, right? So you got to be super careful, guys, like before you go all in on these alts. Okay. What else? So you can have a look at any of these, right? Any of these coins, like name your coin, whatever you want to have a look at here. For the most part, they are absolutely annihilated, right? Like AI16Z on the weekly. We covered this on the low time frame, showing the descending triangle that basically sends this to below zero. Of course, it would stop at zero, but the point is, it's got a long way down to, like, there's still a lot of liquidity that can be drained from these things. Let's see RUNE, here's RUNE. RUNE just hovering around those lows, right? This is your weekly scale. It's terrible, absolutely terrible over here. Super, how does super look? So super is actually holding at this level, right? This is where your weeklies bounce. So maybe like this is Elio's project, and he seems to be pretty passionate about it. That's not enough of a reason to long it, but this is where you found those major lows, right? Where you could bounce. So yeah, range low. If Bitcoin puts in some bounce, some sort of a bounce and shows strength over here, this can easily rally to 87 just on a counter trend move, like a relief rally is of 70% is very, very possible. All right, let's have a look at some of the others. Now I'm interested to see all of these things on the weekly. So it's like you can kind of take your pick, right? What else should we have a look at on the weekly? Lithium, right? Look at that. Lithium. Just straight down. That's like bear market stuff, right? SUI. Let's see SUI on the weekly. So SUI on the weekly can still survive. Look, this was the initial long, and we actually did exit pretty much right at the top over here. I don't know if you guys remember, I said risk to reward wise, I don't see the point in holding this anymore. I think I exited this at about $4.50, and that was a great trade all the way back down. I can buy a lot more of this now, but similar to Bitcoin, if Bitcoin comes into the 72K region, SUI probably comes into about 180. And I'd really like to see it hold that level, right? I don't want to see it go below that. That would still keep, if Bitcoin does reverse and run into like continuation of a bull market, so Bitcoin reclaims 100K and it's all back on, I think SUI can easily take out those highs, right? Then this thing can cook. Because it's been one of the stronger ones. You need to look to the coins that have mostly been strong throughout this bull run. Another one is Mantra, right? Super powerful. Mantra we spoke about on the daily coming into this key zone. Let's go into even as low as the hourly over here and just see what this thing's doing. So we said, look for a bit of a reaction out of this area. Let's expand this a bit. So the highest probability bounce zone is going to be the mid-range, which means for Mantra, why is this not working? There we go. Let's go. Mantra can come down about 6% still, around 6%. Any divergences, you got your little blue dot on the momentum oscillator. It was a tiny bullish divergence, but nothing too exciting. Let's check the 4 hour. How does the 4 hour look? Okay, you got a bullish divergence as well on the 4 hour. Let's just check. Let's see over here. Will you get triple bullish divergence? I don't know. You can also make the argument, falling wedge into that. That's a bullish chart pattern. So, yeah, watch this one. Keep an eye out on this one. I think this one's not too bad because it's historically been one of the strongest, right? So, like if I had to play some gambles over here, because that's what it feels like at the moment, with this news-driven type of market that everything you're doing is really a gamble. You need to wait for either lower or a break above 100K. Things are struggling, right? If Bitcoin breaks its trend, then this probably breaks as well. Then you would see something like that, right? So then I'd watch for that support somewhere around here. I would scale into mantra between 626 and about 640, 626 to 640. That would be like a really nice area of interest. All right, cool. Again, guys, please, if you haven't joined into crypto school, not just mine, but the others, there's a lot of great schools out there. Use the link in the description below. Bank is your ticket there forever, right? Even though there's a price point on here, you can get in for free. Limited offer, unlock the course for free by signing up to Bank. They use that user ID, right? Your user ID becomes your free ticket. That's your pass. So again, first 1,000 users, you get 50 USDT for free for signing up, right? And then you can deposit and unlock 50% off of all futures trading bonuses, meaning you get half of your money back. All right, let me know what else, guys. Let me know what else. Okay, XRP. Let's have a look at XRP. Let's see what XRP is doing. Let's move back onto the dailies, though. Okay, dailies over here. So you can see the daily still has time to roll over, right? It can still come a little bit lower. So, I mean, watch this daily over here. If you start to print like your little blue buy signals and things like that, and this can roll over, you know, you might see something like that. So maybe price drops just a bit lower, starts to break out, a little bit of a back test. That becomes a beautiful entry for continuation on one of the strongest coins over there. Okay, XRP USDT, let's go. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, it was as suspected, right? Why did Trump mention those coins? This was answered by David Sachs, the crypto czar, in yesterday's interviews. Why did Trump name specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP? He actually didn't name BNB, but he named Solana and Cardano. He said just because those were the top 5 when he looked on CoinMarketCap. That's basically the reason, which is absolutely hilarious, right? Okay. So XRP. It's still doing okay. You do have bullish divergence even on the daily time frame, which is not too bad. If Bitcoin is going to make a break, I guess then you know, you're looking for an entry on this. So it's just choppy trading here, like, which is going to chop you in and out, right? So I mean, that's all that we have to work with is that little trend line, which would take you back towards the prior range lows at the yellow zone. That was the last time we mentioned this. We said, you know, overbought over here or oversold over here, bullish divergence on the 4-hour coming into that trend over there and into the yellow line. So, you know, $2, if you are buying this, it would be about $2 and you're looking for about 100% move up to about $4 if it breaks bullish. Okay. Cool. What else? Cardano, we can have a look at Cardano. I think Cardano got a bit hit, but let's check out Cardano. So ADA, where are you? Here we go. Let's first see the dailies. Okay, I mean, also, you do have bullish divergence over here on the daily. This thing's been chopping all over the place. I don't love it. Look, initially we said that based off that big move up, you know, that candle over there, back testing into the range lows. I'm really just focused on this level of the old trading range, deviating above. I think if you can hold that, let's see on this time frame over here. It's just this price action that we've had because of the manipulation of this move. Like, this is where where all the manipulation took place. It's sucky price action. It's like really, really challenging to get any sort of an edge over here. If I had to, you know, throw a bone, I would just focus on the horizontals and say that, you know, this was previous resistance, support, resistance, and now maybe flipping that into support. So it's kind of still basing around this level, but it's a bit challenging to make an invalidation. I think if you're playing the long side, I guess you're going to be looking for your invalidation below here, right? And then you can trade this mid-range and then back to the highs, giving you about a 5-to-1. If you take out that low, you're probably coming for this low, and then the whole thing's going to fall out. Okay. Richard Hart is bullish on Pulse Chain. I know, of course, he created it. Of course, he'd be bullish on Pulse Chain. Okay, Trump. Let's have a look at Trump, actually. That one I want to see. You know, how did Trump coin react into this? Was there even any sort of a move? No. I mean, it's a dead coin. Any spikes over here, you know, you don't take any position on this until there's some volatility. Basically, I wouldn't hold this. I wouldn't do anything. But anytime that you see excitement with a spike like this, open up your LBank, open up your LBank account, go straight to futures trading and start to open up a short trade, right? Immediately look for the swing failure, the rejection on any of these counter rallies or relief rallies, and then start to short this. Right now, Trump coin is still how high in terms of market cap? And I mean, I think this thing will just bleed out over time. It just becomes the easiest free money short trade, right? Just make sure you're not paying too much on funding. That's the only thing. But current market cap still fully diluted is $12 billion. And currently the market cap, 2.4 billion. And remember, they're just going to release tokens and keep selling them forever. So this is going to zero over time. I mean, look, maybe it will end at like $100 million market cap or something, but it's just going to bleed. This thing is just going to bleed. Mark my words. It's going to bleed out all the way. 83% down. Expect soon it's going to be 86% down. Then 90% down. Then 95, and then 99, and then 99.99999% down. And yeah, I wouldn't hold this. No ways. Okay. All right, guys. Also, again, just quick reminder, get your Pinex account ready. Claim the sign-up bonus while you still can. From next week, I will start to show you the bots and the trades that we're looking at, right? So we're going to give it a go. We'll see what this does in this range trading environment in the chop. For those of you that also want to jump into whale room, of course, you know, there's a lot going on in there, right? Sometimes we drop jokes, and most of the time we drop alpha. So this has been one of the most important things to look at, is that downtrend in the 7-day daily exchange volume. So we're waiting for that to update. Let me actually quickly check live to see if it has. Let's just, so 7th of March, let's just see if we got an update over here. 7th of March, let's see, we need the 8th of March data. Not yet, not yet. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this starts to drop quite heavily over the course of next week. All right, that's it from me, folks. Thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate each and every single one of you, and I will see you on the next one. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend wherever you are in the world. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers for now.